I don't think I can keep pretending I don't like you anymore.
So this is basically 90% of where I was for filming, but it's like
I hate you. No, you don't.
And then the whole backside, you know, there's is out.
People say you're not funny.
They do?
Yeah. They say you're boring too.
You have to stretch your hips. I doubt your hips are being stretched.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't see what's happening here.
Why the fuck did you think it was okay to sex me before the game? What the fuck?
You were hard, weren't you?
These are two fictional hockey players who spent nearly a decade sleeping together before they admitted they were in love. Rachel Reid's Heated Rivalry, published in March 2019, has become one of the most successful romance novels of the past 5 years, with over 100,000 ratings on Goodreads, hundreds of thousands of copies sold across the series, and a TV adaptation that earned critical acclaim.
I'm not just a pretty face. Oh, but you're a very pretty face.
You can't tell. If anyone finds out that...
What makes this book feel so different from other love stories isn't just its setting in professional hockey or its openly gay protagonists, it's how the story refuses to rush. Most romance novels compress falling in love into weeks or months, but Heated Rivalry spans from 2008 to 2018, showing two NHL rivals who begin a physical relationship almost immediately while taking years to develop emotional intimacy.
Ilya Rozanov? Shane Hollander, I wanted to introduce myself.
We will be seeing each other a lot.
I think I'm gay.
What makes you think that?
Fuck you, you're not gay.
No, not completely. Well, you maced me, didn't you?
I fucking didn't. And I still beat your ass.
Barely.
Okay, so you're gay, so what?
Well, it's kind of a big deal. To me, at least.
The physical side comes easy, but saying I love you takes a decade, and that inversion of typical romance structure is exactly why readers keep coming back to it. The origin story matters here because it explains everything about this book.
What room are you in?
This looks serious.
It's not.
Rachel Reid is the pen name of Rochelle Gouguin, a writer from Nova Scotia, Canada, who's been a lifelong Montreal Canadiens fan and actually played in a boys' Pee-wee hockey league as a kid because no girls' hockey existed at the time. She knows the sport intimately, both its appeal and its problems. Reid has been direct about what inspired Heated Rivalry, and it started with watching HBO's documentary series that followed Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin, two of the NHL's biggest stars who were constantly compared to each other after being drafted first and second in the same year.
Great pass.
Where I go? You should give us a chance to get to know each other.
Watching their manufactured rivalry unfold got her thinking about how toxic and homophobic hockey culture was and how that made her ashamed to be a hockey fan. The Game Changers series came from a place of being angry at hockey culture and how clearly homophobic it was and is, and Reid wanted the series to attack the NHL and hockey culture quite a bit.
We're just not compatible.
So you and Rose Landry are not?
Yeah, not. You're not jealous, are you?
No.
I'm sorry, sir. We'd really like to accommodate you, but...
Compatible. I thought I knew what it meant, but I wanted to be sure.
She's great, but, Ilya, I'm gay.
Yeah, not so gay you can't fuck Rose Landry.
Oh my god.
I'm just a bellboy kid.
She started writing secretly on her iPad while waiting for her sons to fall asleep at night, and she told a friend at the time that it would be cool if the book sold like 100 copies. She genuinely thought Heated Rivalry was weird for a romance novel and was just writing something for herself. The premise she created puts Shane Hollander as captain of the Montreal Voyageurs and Ilya Rozanov as captain of the Boston Bears, two players who were drafted first and second in the same year, while the media has been comparing, ranking, and pitting them against each other ever since.
Are you Russian though?
I'm not, no.
What?
Yeah.
You like look Russian.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. That's
But you're an MMA fighter?
Yeah, I grew up
wow.
MMA fighting and boxing.
That's crazy.
And then I got too many concussions.
he's dangerous.
Publicly, they're fierce competitors, but privately, they've been sleeping together for years, using coded names Jane for Shane, Lily for Ilya, and grabbing secret hours in hotel rooms between games. What makes this premise realistic rather than fantasy is a single fact. The NHL has never had an openly gay active or retired player in its over 100-year history. Not one.
Do you want to come to my game tonight?
Oh, wow.
I have 2 seats.
When Reid writes about two closeted hockey stars hiding a relationship, she's not exaggerating the stakes. The structure of this book is where it departs most dramatically from typical romance, and that's what we need to talk about next. Heated Rivalry uses a vignette structure across 10 years, showing us Shane and Ilya at all-star games, during playoffs, at the Sochi Olympics, on stolen vacation days, and the story jumps forward months or even years between chapters. What that structure does is force you to fill in the gaps yourself, to imagine all the hotel rooms and text messages and moments of longing that happened in between what you're shown on the page.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm assuming your buddy might be gay.
Not here.
No, I'm not. I saw you up here. I wanted to see how you're doing.
We get together, we fuck, we simple.
Simple. Bullshit. Are you okay?
Please, go.
You didn't answer my text.
All About Romance named it a best book of 2019, and their review explained why this works. It's rare to see an author show you the course of a relationship that unfolds over years like this, with each chapter showing the relationship gradually evolving so subtly that even the characters don't realize just how deep in they are until it's too late. Reader reviews consistently praise how Ilya's English improves naturally over the course of the book, starting with simpler and less expressive dialogue in early chapters, while his English becomes more eloquent and nuanced as the years go by, and he's been in North America longer.
I love you.
I love it.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
For the next 2 weeks, let's just be honest with each other.
You're not jealous, are you?
No.
I will try. Really? Yes.
The change happens so gradually that you hardly notice it. You just realize at some point that Ilya is expressing emotional complexity in ways he couldn't in 2008. Reid's drafting process reveals something fascinating. The entire Part 2 section of the book, which includes the Sochi Olympics chapters and the NHL awards ceremony, didn't exist in her first draft. Her editor suggested adding it, and Reid did, which gave the story its earned emotional climax. Without it, the book would have jumped from their established relationship directly to its crisis point, losing the sense of years of accumulated intimacy.
You like tuna melt?
You want to make me a tuna melt?
I was gonna make one for me, I can make two.
Fuck you, he played hockey for McGill.
Whoa. What the fuck is McGill? Is McGill at that?
It's a really good school.
What makes this timeline structure really work is that physical intimacy precedes emotional vulnerability, which flips the typical romance novel approach. In most novels, especially slow burns, characters resist their attraction for a good chunk of the book before finally giving in. But Shane and Ilya sleep together almost immediately when they first meet at an all-star game.
It's you. It's this. I don't think I can keep pretending I don't like you anymore. And it felt like we were something.
We can't be something, Hollander.
It wasn't nothing. Don't act like that. This is hard enough without you being an asshole.
They're physically compatible from day one. The slow burn is entirely emotional, taking them years to admit they care, years to say each other's real names instead of Jane and Lily, years to acknowledge that what they have is more than just convenient encounters between competitive games. Reviews highlighted exactly this. The development of the relationship spans 8 or 9 years, and the author showed how slowly but surely they noticed more about each other and learned more about each other. That patience is radical in romance publishing because the genre typically rewards immediate emotional payoffs.
Did you, bring anybody?
No?
I feel like we're gonna hit a lot of that sort of thing this weekend.
Heated Rivalry asks you to wait a decade for its characters to catch up to what readers already know. The explicit content is one of the most discussed aspects of the book, and opinions are split on this. Heated Rivalry is high-heat romance, rated at the top end of the Steam level scale with multiple intimate scenes throughout. If you're not interested in reading explicit romance, this is not the book for you.
I know it's called Heated Rivalry, but my goodness, it should be more like Steamy Rivalry.
Either of you read the book when you auditioned for this?
No, we didn't even know about hockey, smut, and romantic like.
What multiple reviewers have noted is that despite all those scenes, none of them feel gratuitous, with reviews emphasizing that every single one does something to help advance the characters, the plot, or the romance. The physical encounters track the emotional evolution, starting with scenes that are fast, detached, almost anonymous, two men who don't even use each other's real names, and later showing increasing tenderness, vulnerability, and experimentation with trust.
Hey.
Sorry. I wish I spoke Russian. How about you tell me everything that's on your mind, but in Russian?
Так сильно тебя люблю и не знаю, что с этим делать.
Like a clean hit, Hollander just did not see it coming.
The physical intimacy is how Shane and Ilya communicate before they develop the language for actual emotional honesty. Jacob Tierney, who created the TV adaptation, explained to Rolling Stone why this approach resonated with him. This is not about somebody coming out, it's about two people figuring out they are allowed to be in love, and that difference from other books really stuck with him. But here's where the book receives its most pointed criticism. Some readers feel the intimate scenes become repetitive, while others note that the time jumps between chapters mean we see more bedroom encounters than actual conversations, which can make the emotional development feel incomplete or tell rather than show. Some negative reviews counted the scenes and felt they overwhelmed character development, and that's a fair criticism.
I'm sorry about your family. Even if they suck, you must miss them.
If the physical intimacy doesn't work for you as a substitute for emotional conversation, the book's structure will feel unbalanced. For readers who do connect with Reid's approach, those scenes function as a language unto themselves, showing Shane and Ilya learning to be vulnerable through physical trust before they're capable of emotional honesty.
What the? I'm coming to the cottage.
That's the book's central thesis about closeted intimacy. The enemies part of enemies to lovers gets complicated in heated rivalry in interesting ways, and that's worth examining. Typical enemies to lovers requires characters who genuinely dislike each other. Think Pride and Prejudice, where Elizabeth and Darcy have legitimate grievances and moral judgments about each other, or business rivals destroying each other's livelihoods. Shane and Ilya aren't really enemies, which changes everything. Their rivalry is institutional rather than personal, manufactured by the media before their rookie seasons because they were drafted first and second in the same year and are both excellent at hockey. Fans want a rivalry, so reporters frame every game as a showdown, and the characters play into it because that's part of being a professional athlete. Reid addressed this directly on her FAQ page, noting she was inspired by the Crosby-Ovechkin rivalry, but also by her love of the enemies to lovers and forbidden romance tropes, blending inspirations rather than doing a straight adaptation. All About Romance called it kind of but not quite enemies to lovers because Shane and Ilya were never truly personal enemies, with their antagonism existing for cameras and fans while their private connection represents who they actually are. This reframing makes the trope feel more realistic because many workplace rivals are simply people the system forces into competition. Shane and Ilya could have been friends or teammates if circumstances were different, but instead, they're opposing captains who have to perform rivalry while hiding that they're sleeping together. The hockey setting provides built-in stakes that amplify every interaction, and as one writer noted in Harper's Bazaar, sports romances have built-in stakes that make for extremely compelling stories because in rivalries, someone must win and someone must lose. Every time Shane and Ilya play against each other, there's a scoreboard. Every season, one of them advances in playoffs while the other doesn't. Every awards ceremony, one of them wins MVP while the other watches. The professional competition is real, even if the personal animosity is performed. And that tension between public performance and private truth is what gives the book its sustained dramatic engine. Closeted athlete representation is where heated rivalry carries real-world weight beyond just being a romance novel, and this matters. The book explores institutional homophobia without making it the sole focus or turning into a tragedy, showing Shane facing pressure from Canadian hockey culture's expectations of its golden boys. He's supposed to be wholesome, family-oriented, the perfect representative of the sport, while Ilya navigates both hockey's toxicity and Russian laws that threaten his family back home. One analysis of the book framed it this way: heated rivalry is about the repression of being in the closet, but it's equally about the repression of being a Russian or Canadian male athlete who's never been encouraged or maybe even allowed to be emotionally vulnerable. This representation has had measurable real-world impact, which is genuinely remarkable. Closeted professional athletes in hockey, football, and basketball have anonymously contacted both Rachel Reid and the TV show's actors about how the story resonated with their experiences, and more publicly, a hockey player named Jesse Courtuam came out after watching the TV adaptation. He stated that he knows many closeted and gay men in the hockey world are being hit hard by heated rivalry's success, and that he never in his life thought something so positive and loving could come from such a masculine sport. The contrast with women's hockey is stark and telling because the Professional Women's Hockey League has dozens of openly queer players while the NHL has zero. Not zero active players who are out, zero active or retired players who have ever been publicly out during their NHL careers in the league's entire history. When Reid writes about Shane and Ilya hiding their relationship using coded names, meeting in secret hotel rooms, carefully managing their public images, that's not melodrama. That's realism based on hockey culture as it actually exists, and one author writing about the book's impact captured why this matters for the genre broadly. At the heart of it, queer love stories are unique in that so much of the happily ever after is about identity and community, about loving yourself enough to let yourself be loved exactly as you are. The book's ending respects that choosing love doesn't instantly resolve systemic problems. Shane and Ilya are together at the end of heated rivalry, but they're still closeted, which means the happy ending isn't coming out publicly, it's choosing each other despite the world not being ready for them. The commercial and critical success of this book validates Reid's unconventional approach to romance structure, and the numbers tell a story of exponential growth. The book has a strong rating on Goodreads with over 100,000 ratings, with half of those being 5 stars, and the entire Game Changers series has sold hundreds of thousands of copies. When the TV adaptation premiered in late 2025, sales increased dramatically, and at its peak in early 2026, the book was selling tens of thousands of copies per week. What's interesting is that the book took nearly a year after publication to gain traction, and romance novelist Kat Sebastian's social media recommendation in 2020 was what Reid called a real turning point in attracting readers. This was grassroots, word-of-mouth success rather than a big marketing push, which makes the eventual explosion even more impressive. Professional reviews positioned it as genre-defining, with Library Journal giving it a starred review and praising the heated hidden romance full of emotional and physical exploration. NPR's Weekend Edition called it the book that got them into hockey romance, and the Washington Post credited it with getting their reviewer hooked on the gay hockey romance genre entirely. The book helped establish hockey romance as a viable subgenre, and according to data, hockey romance experienced significant growth in published titles between 2022 and 2024, with the number of books nearly tripling. Heated Rivalry didn't create the category, but it proved there was a massive audience for it, and the TV adaptation became very successful for its streaming service. The success of the show drove Reid's entire Game Changers series onto bestseller lists, and at one point in late 2025, Rachel Reid had 5 books on the Canadian bestseller list simultaneously. The sequel to Heated Rivalry, a book called The Long Game, reached the USA Today bestseller list in 2023, and a third Shane and Ilya novel called Unrivaled is scheduled for September 2026. LGBTQ+ romance print sales have tripled in recent years, and Heated Rivalry is a significant part of that growth, both as a successful individual title and as proof to publishers that there's a large audience for queer romance with happy endings. A couple of additional details about this book's legacy are worth mentioning here. After the TV show was cast, actor Hudson Williams asked Rachel Reid if Shane was on the autism spectrum based on how he'd interpreted the character, and Reid confirmed yes, she'd written Shane as autistic, though she hadn't fully understood that herself while writing the book. She explained that she then went through the long and complicated journey of getting her neurodivergent oldest child diagnosed, learning a lot then and since, and by the time she wrote The Long Game, she had a better understanding of Shane and realized that yeah, he's probably autistic. That kind of character development, where an author understands their own character more deeply through reader interpretation and personal experience, speaks to how Heated Rivalry continues to evolve beyond its original publication. One more piece of personal context matters here. Rachel Reid was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in August 2023, just 4 days before receiving the message about adapting her book for television, and she said that getting that message at that time was pretty huge for her, and was exactly what she needed. The success of Heated Rivalry gave Reid financial security and validation at a moment when she was facing a life-altering diagnosis, and while that's not directly about the book's literary merit, it matters as part of the story of what this book has meant, both to its author and to readers who've connected with it. So why does Heated Rivalry feel so different from other love stories? It comes down to patience as radical storytelling, and that's the answer. Most romance novels deliver emotional resolution within a compressed timeline because that's what the genre typically rewards, with readers expecting to see characters meet, resist their attraction, overcome obstacles, and confess their love within a single narrative arc that feels complete. Heated Rivalry trusts readers to wait, asking you to sit with uncertainty across a decade while showing you 2 men who are physically intimate from their first encounter, but who can't or won't say I love you for years. It presents a rivalry that's institutional rather than personal, making the emotional stakes about overcoming systemic homophobia rather than just personal pride. The explicit content isn't gratuitous. It's the only language Shane and Ilya have for years before they develop the courage for actual words, and the vignette structure isn't a stylistic choice for its own sake. It's Reid showing you that some relationships develop in stolen moments over years rather than in one continuous narrative. The enemies to lovers arc earns its transformation because we watch it happen across hockey seasons, All-Star games, and Olympics, while the forbidden relationship carries weight because the NHL's real homophobia makes the stakes credible. The happy ending, with characters together but still closeted at book's end, respects that love doesn't instantly resolve structural oppression. Reviews noted that each vignette shows the relationship gradually evolving so subtly that even the characters don't realize just how deep in they are until it's too late, and that's the book's thesis statement. Shane and Ilya fell in love so slowly that they didn't notice until they couldn't live without each other. Rachel Reid wanted to contribute to the growing number of queer stories that have happy endings, and what she delivered was proof that those endings can be hard-won rather than guaranteed and mean more for it. The book doesn't subvert romance conventions so much as take them seriously, asking what if enemies to lovers really did take years? What if physical intimacy genuinely came before emotional trust for some people? What if the happy ending was choosing each other even when the world isn't ready to accept that choice? For the hundreds of thousands of readers who've engaged with this book and the series, those questions were worth exploring. Heated Rivalry feels different because it refuses to rush the parts that matter most. The slow, painful, beautiful process of two people learning they're allowed to want what they want and love who they love, and that patience in a genre that typically rewards speed, is what makes this love story stand out.